Hello, everyone. I am Dani Wigfall, and this is the Design Your Remarkable Life podcast. Here, I interview incredible individuals who are leaving their mark on the world, generating wealth, and charting their own course. So get your notepads out and let's get into it. I am so excited, Aden, to have you on the show. Everyone, this is Aden Eyob. She is a clinical trial healthcare consultant, a mindset coach, and she is currently building an app that we're going to get more details about as well, because we don't hear that every day. Aden, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Danielle. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast.
Yeah, no. Okay, so we're just going to dive right on it. So, why did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Honestly, I don't think it was a decision. It was just something I knew I wanted from like six. Let's start young. I just knew that I didn't want to be answering to anybody. It really just stemmed from my grandma. I was like, I don't really like answering to you. There's got to be a way with life where I can just create something that's my own. And then just deeply though, jokes aside, like I just knew that I had like something that I was here to create, but it wasn't going to be in a compound of a company. I had to come up with the path myself. And so that didn't really, just start off like that. Obviously, I was six at the time. Let's grow up a little bit. But then I went into the whole academia route and I played around a little bit, went into corporate. I went into clinical trial management. And I'm not going to lie, I did get sucked into that life because it is comfortable, it pays well. But ultimately, I wasn't content because deep down, I knew that this wasn't the path. It was a stepping stone, but it wasn't the path that was for me. And so, about 6 years ago, that's when I had like what I call my epiphany slash breakdown, when everything sort of crumbled, and I just felt God saying to me, "Okay, now's the time. You got to take a leap of faith and follow your path of entrepreneurship." I didn't even call it entrepreneurship. I just started as, okay, it's time for me to walk my path. And so, it was up and down, obviously, as with every journey of an entrepreneur. It's never smooth sailing. So, there were some highs and lows, but I think what really helped also was where I was living in the UK. I was living in this place called The Collective. And so it's really an amazing community that really fosters entrepreneurship as well. And so there's other entrepreneurs. And so I think that really helped me to have the courage and confidence to really start something that's my own, knowing that I'm surrounded by a community of people who are on that path in different levels. Some are just starting, some are well established. So I had something I can see ahead. And so being there really just gave me that confidence, and really it was also the pain of not knowing what it would be like if I didn't try. I just knew that this job that paid well, and yes, I could go down the pecking order, but deep down, I'm not happy. So the alternative is go for it and see what happens. And that's exactly what happened 6 years ago. And it's been a great journey. Obviously, there are times that are challenging and cry and you get up and you do it again. But I don't regret it because now I'm creating a path that is uniquely mine, my purpose, and being able to create impact for people and help many people along the way to really shift their way of thinking, whether that's in their business, in their personal life as well. And so that is something I don't take back.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I want to pull out this one thing that you mentioned is the collective, right? Being able to have that community around you really kind of, it sounds like it grounded you, but also gave you this floorboard to just kind of spring off into your own new thing that was going to be on the horizon. If someone, let's say, doesn't live in this collective, that sounds so amazing. How can someone still start if they want to be an entrepreneur or get their start or find community?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key for me is if you don't have that community, it's about, first of all, assessing where you are, assessing your group. Who are you surrounded? You are literally the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So are they people who are going to be on this journey with you? Are they going to inspire you? Are they going to motivate you? Or are you surrounded by people who are naysayers? Because if they are, this is a point where I would say stop, pause, reflect, and get rid of people. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
easy, it's not comfortable. Sometimes it's family members and you can't just toss them away. And I'm not saying do that, but you've got to learn to be able to understand your circle and see who can fit in what I call like, so you've got the traffic light system. That's how I learned it. You've got the red, you got the yellow, you got the green. You want to be able to clear your red people. So those are the negative people. And understand if it's your family, it may just be about learning boundaries and setting those healthy boundaries in place so that you don't necessarily get rid of them, but they're not impacting this new, vision of you venturing into the unknown, because they're going to want to like protect you, but that would be telling you don't do it, right? So understanding
Right.
that. And then if you've got friends and that just are not on the path, it's time to let go, because if you can't let go of that energy, then it prevents you from starting, because demotivation kicks in and
Yeah.
self-doubt and all of that. And then it's about really seeing also other people in your life who are not necessarily naysayers, but they're not exactly supporting you. They're just in the middle. That's
Mm-hmm.
stagnant energy. So those kind of people too have to be cleansed aside. So it's about finding people who are green. So people who encourage you, who motivate you, who cheer you on, even if they're not on your path. And then it's
Yeah.
about looking at where you want to go and then creating circles. So where do I find this? The universe is amazing in that the minute you're clear about what you want, you don't
Ooh.
have to figure everything out. You just set that intention. The minute you do that, the universe orchestrates it. So you will start to meet people who are
Mhm.
aligned, who are on your vision. And yes, there's a little bit of work you have to do. So that looks like going to like networking events, right? So
Yeah.
aligned with your purpose, what this new venture that you're about to do. Get into
Mhm.
like entrepreneurship groups and networking events. Network, network, network. Your network
Yeah.
is your network. So the more people
Yes.
you get to meet, the more you're able to filter out, even in those events, the people who are truly aligned. I would say, like, whenever you're in these networking events, give yourself about 3 months to really assess a person, because some of the things I've heard and I've seen it in my life is too, and that when I was like building my new circle, I would get really excited because I'll meet people who are equally adventurous and entrepreneur led and
Yeah.
stuff, but understand that like there may not necessarily be the people for me or for you. So that's why it's good to have a cooling period of about 3 months to really assess the people you think are aligned for you. Because in
Mhm.
that time, you can really see, okay, are they going to really help me with my business? Are they the
Right.
right fit? Or was it just like, great to know you, I'll keep you as a network? Those are two
Mhm.
different things. So that's really
Mhm.
important. And yeah, I would say is to make a decision, make a firm decision. That's key. So that
Yeah.
just kills procrastination. If you are ready for this venture, make that decision that you're willing to meet new people, you're willing to get rid of people as well. Start taking action, massive actions. Start going to events. Allow yourself to be yourself and not be afraid of meeting people as well. And then just
Mhm.
allow the universe to help you along the way.
Yeah. I love that. I also love the green, yellow, and red stoplight, and vetting people, not just letting everybody come into your space because just because you met someone and it seems like in that moment they may be the perfect person to work with or get to know, like really taking your time and vetting people that come into your space. So protecting your space, as well too, because we can
As
also
you're
let the
creating
wrong people
something.
in. Mhm.
Hmm. It's very important because when we're in that mode of entrepreneurship and creation, it's a very vulnerable space that one finds themselves, and so that's why it's so important that the people that we bring into our space at that initial time of creation are really in harmony with that journey that you're on. Otherwise, the wrong kind of co-founder, the wrong kind of team member can really make or break your business ultimately. So
Yeah.
that's why it's so important to vet, vet, vet.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are a consultant, a coach, an author. Let's talk about this author for a bit. If someone decides, hey, I want to be an author, I want to have my own book, what should be some of their first steps that they do?
Well, okay. So for me, that journey, it wasn't that I thought I wanted to be an author. I was guided to that. So what I would say though is for people who, like if you have a story that you are meant to share, you have that inkling. So I'd say follow that inkling,
Yeah.
reflect. Is this something you want to do? And then take action. And there's many ways you can get into the authorship world. You nowadays we have so many options. You can be self-published. You can go through the traditional route. You can get a literary agent. I think the key is really being honest with yourself and asking yourself, is there a story that I'm here to tell? I'm here to
Yeah.
serve and to share. And if so, then overcoming any fears that come with that. And then
Mm-hmm.
again, start surrounding yourself with community who are fellow authors, literary agents, people who love books. And then when you do that, those like tools and resources. So there's many ways you can go about it. You could be self-published. You can go through the traditional route. There's also a hybrid model, and so there's many ways nowadays that you can become that. I think what's really important is be honest with yourself. Is there a story you want to share or that you're called to share? Because sometimes it's you may not want to, you're scared, but if check in, like if there's a story you have to share to the world, that's an inkling that this is for you, right? And be honest, reflect on that, and then allow yourself to surround yourself again with community, but this time intentionally going to book conferences, connecting with literary agents, connecting with fellow authors, learning their journey and their ways, attending book club events. So the minute you position yourself in those kind of environments, then the doors start to unlock because you've intentionally made a decision. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm aligning myself with people who are on that. Therefore, the house will start to populate. And then it gets clearer for you what path you want to take. I think for me, it really stemmed from people who'd hear my story and be like, you should really write a book. But I was like, that's not really on my little 10, 15, 20-year plan. I don't really feel like exposing my life like that.
Right,
So I
right.
brushed it away. I was like, no, we're not going to do that. I'll just tell you that's enough, right? But it kept happening. It kept happening. And
Mm.
like I said, 6 years ago, when I had that breakdown and epiphany, that's when I had the calling to start my business, but also write a book at the same time. So it was two very big things that happened together. But what helped me to really take that step forward to write my book, the book on mind training, The Secret for Positive Living, is taking it away from me. It's not about me, it's about the story, the life I've lived, and the impact it can help somebody else who may be
Yeah.
experiencing suicide, who may be,
Mhm.
found themselves homeless or who
Mhm.
has domestic violence, all of this, that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, that this isn't the end. So the minute I removed like me, and victimhood to this is an opportunity to share a story, but also show them how they can overcome limiting beliefs, how they can train their mind, then that purpose and the why kicked in. And so that's when writing became important because now I have to share. And
Yeah.
so when I did that, that's when I kid you not, on Facebook, I'm not really on Facebook, but I was just scrolling, and then there was this event happening for book writers. So I went there, and that's how I met my mentor, who later
Uh-huh.
became also my publisher and also my mentor for my business. So I think it's like, just make that decision. The minute you make that decision, the universe will really just support you, but also get into those kind of communities. Make yourself vulnerable to be
Yeah.
willing to like be coached and learn, and those answers come. And writing a book it's not easy, but it's when you understand why you're doing it, then it becomes a necessity, not an option.
No, that's good. And I love that you put the focus on other people. I need to share this with other people. Because in your book, you got vulnerable. Vulnerable. Yes, you did. But I thought it was so good and so healing. Even reading certain things and even knowing you at certain parts in your life, I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know this part. I was like, there's so much we could have talked about there. But I think there's another thing where there's certain things sometimes we go through in life that we just kind of keep to ourselves or we keep quiet, because we're still processing or whatever that thing may be. So you had a lot of relatable things in there that were very deep. But I think it brings so much value to people's lives, especially people that may feel like, man, I've been given so many like just difficult situations, and so many challenges in my life. How do I deal with this? Can I come out of this? And so I thought it beautiful. It was beautiful, beautiful. Where can people get your book?
Yeah, so you can find it in my website, which directly takes you to Amazon. So it's called The Book on Mind Training: The Secret for Positive Living. So
Awesome. And then
Amazon,
I
put my
will put
name, you
that
should
in.
be able to see it.
Say it again, Aiden.
On Amazon, essentially.
Mm-hmm. And I will put all the information in the show notes there. Okay, so what are you working on now?
So I'm working on a project that is very dear to my heart. It's something that since I was 6. A lot happened when I was 6, as you can tell. I've wanted to do, and it's personal to me because it's basically it's called Afromind. It's a digital first health coach app that connects the African continent with vetted diaspora mental health care providers. And why this is important to me is my background. I'm originally from Ethiopia, from East Africa, and my family, especially my mom's side of the family, there's a whole generation upon generation of mental illness. And what I noticed is that the way that they were treated is just really unacceptable in our day and
Yeah.
age. I'm talking from, like, I had an uncle who was just locked away all day, all night, because it was shameful to have a family member with schizophrenia. And I've also seen my mom, who had schizophrenia, receive treatment in the UK, and it was just very disturbing, to be honest, as a young child. And also, in when she did go back to Ethiopia, they'll confuse schizophrenia with demon possessed. And so I see her getting doused in holy water. I'm like, I don't really think this is helping the situation.
Yeah.
And so what
Mm-hmm.
I got from a very young age is that we got to do better. We got to start educating, creating awareness, understand the difference of, like, the science and the faith. There is a place
Yes.
for both. So let's educate, and then let's find a path that integrates both.
Yeah.
And so that's where it really kind of stemmed from. And why this is important, at least in the African continent, is because across Africa, more than 116 million people live with mental illness, with less than
Mhm.
15% actually receiving treatment because there's no infrastructure. So the majority of contributing factors around this is literally inadequate funding and poor or non-existent access to healthcare services. So if you don't have money in certain parts of the African continent, you will die. And that's
Yeah.
just, you want to
Yeah.
go get health check. Mental health is non-existent. And so that's where I've just felt, since I was young, a calling to bridge that gap. We have
Yeah.
so many diaspora led folks who have the talent, who have the skills, but don't necessarily want to go back home. So that's where Afromind comes in, is to bridge that gap. So I'm not
Mhm.
saying you have to be from the continent. It could be that you've lived there, you have a lot of understanding. And the reason why that's important is because the solution that Afromind is bringing is that we're helping Africans who need that affordable and culturally appropriate mental
Yes.
health care by connecting them with vetted diaspora healthcare providers. Because even in the US, I don't know the stats, but I'm sure there's a large percentage of people of color who don't receive mental health treatment because of that factor of, you don't get me. And so that's what I also want to bridge that gap, is across the African continent as well.
Yeah, no, and I think that's powerful work, and I think that's so needed. Probably in all of the continents, but yes, no, I love the work that you're doing. If people want to get involved with this work or want to reach out to you or want to donate, where can they do that? Should they
Yeah,
email
so I think
you?
the best way to do that, yeah, is probably email me. And yeah, you could reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. And I'll be happy to share more about that. It is very much in its early stages. And I am actually looking to rebuild a team. And so that's definitely something I'm doing. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me or on LinkedIn.
On your journey, let's go back to that aha moment, right? Like the aha moment came from, it sounds like this breakdown of being unhappy, not being happy where you are, and then you have this aha moment. I feel like sometimes it can be hard to pivot when you have a job that's paying well and it's like, no, but something else is calling me, right?
Mhm.
What would you say besides community and besides that feeling of like, I feel like there's something else? what really helped move you to entrepreneurship to be doing that, and doing entrepreneurship, contract work full time?
Mm, pain, loss. It
Ah,
does
yeah.
that for me as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that span of like when I turned 30, I lost the things that I prized or the things that I held onto as a form of identity. So when all of that was stripped away overnight or even just in a couple of weeks, it created a fresh start. I didn't see it at that time as being a fresh start, but it was a clearing. So then I had an opportunity. I can go back to try and claim that prior person I was, or I
Yeah.
now have an opportunity to recreate myself. And so in recreating myself, I'm creating a business too, and my business is me. So the more I was like redefining myself, that's how the business was also forming. So I'm not saying pain is a great motivator, but it does happen in the entrepreneurship path is that you will lose things. And but
Mhm.
it's not a negative, it's a clearing. And that clearing is important to get clear about what your business is and where you're going. And so
Mhm.
that could be a motivator. But I think also it's do a visualization exercise. See yourself like 50 or 90 years ahead on your deathbed. Are you going to be content with who the person you are now? Like, is this how you want to end your scene ultimately?
Yeah.
If it is not, then that's an opportunity to get up and go and to trust that you do have what it takes because we come equipped. The universe has equipped us when we come. It's like the noise of the world that tells us, oh, we can't be entrepreneurs, or it's too risky, or the unknown is not something you want to venture. Just stay in the comfort zone. But the comfort zone, unfortunately, is the suffocation zone because nothing grows from that. The minute
Yeah.
you push past the comfort zone, that's when growth happens. And so this is like for your business, it's a must. If you look
Mhm.
at it from a place of it's a must rather than it's an option, your
Yeah.
brain will adjust to, okay, this is how we're going to make this business happen. These are the
Yeah.
people that we will meet. Your brain is literally like a Google server. The minute you plug in, it's a must for me to create this business, the hows will
Mhm.
start coming. What you need to focus is why and what. The how you leave for the universe, but also allow yourself that grace period for the how to come together. And eventually you will meet the people. It could be an advisor, a coach, mentor.
Yeah.
These are all critical things when
Yeah.
starting a business to have. I can't stress that enough because why make a mistake that somebody else has made? You
Yeah.
can avoid that by getting a coach, by getting a
Mhm.
mentor. Learn from the best, emulate the best. If in your business, who is the best in your industry and emulate them. And that's the
Mhm.
fast track to successful business. But if you are, no, I have to do this myself. And that was a path I joined for a while before I
Yeah.
realized, you know what, this isn't working
We
out
do
for
that.
me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Doing it myself path, it doesn't work. Learn from the
Mhm.
best, associate yourself with the best, and then you become the best.
Ooh, that's good. I feel like, yeah, as entrepreneurs, we get in that, I can do it all by myself. I can figure this out. I can, instead of partnering or
Mhm.
learning from or collaborating with is very much the individual mindset, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's also, even if you look at it from energies, like the energy expenditure of you versus when you have a collaboration, you
Yeah.
move further when you have two or more people working on something versus me,
Mhm.
myself, and I working on one thing. I'm going to make inch by inch progress. But if I'm collaborating with you or somebody else aligned with my business, we're going to move fast because you got to think of we have pooled skills, we have
Yeah.
pooled resources, right? But
Mhm.
then on an energetic level, mindset wise, there's three or four people focused on the same outcome, then that forces the universe to bring that result faster than if I myself was just focused on one with my skill set, with my very little resources at the beginning, because bootstrapping is real. And so that's
Mhm.
why getting a coach, getting a mentor, collaborating from the beginning are really great ways to like avoid the pitfall of many entrepreneurs, even including myself, of let's do this myself, burn out,
Yep.
and then realize, oh wait, I should probably collaborate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like if not every entrepreneur, especially newer entrepreneurs may have that journey of like, okay, I got this. Let me figure this out.
Mhm.
Let me do this, and then it's like, wait, wait. And then it's that learning process of like community collaboration. And you are just literally boss lady at delegation. Literally at delegation. You're like, Danielle, I told you need to delegate that part out. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
good. It's good. It's good. Yeah. So
because
collaboration, clarity. Mm-hmm.
with the delegation though, it's like, I know I give you a hard time with that, but it's about understanding your skill set. What are you here to do, and do
Yeah.
that alone? Because if I'm here just doing everything, I'm getting
Yep.
confused, but I'm also wasting energy here. But
Yep.
I am being gifted to coach, to consult.
Mm-hmm.
That's my area of expertise. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, those things can shift. But what I'm getting at is, don't do things that you know are you can do, because those things are, they can be delegated. You're not
Yeah.
growing. You want to be
Mm-hmm.
able to do the work that grows you, and you yourself and only you can do. And then
Mm-hmm.
the rest, give it away, because those
Yeah.
people are gifted to do that. So why are you hoarding, essentially?
You know what I think it is I think what plays into this is a scarcity mindset. And
Mhm.
I think that's because a lot of people feel like, oh, let me hold on to my money. I can do it myself instead of hiring out. And so we move
Yeah,
out of that scarcity of like, let me try to figure this out. Whereas it may take us so much longer to get a mediocre result. Whereas if we would have paid for someone for that, we could have gotten a result that was way better, moved faster, combined your mind and their mind, resources as well. And sometimes we don't see it as that, but we're trying to hold on to, oh, let me hold on to my money so I'll figure this out. I can do it by myself, whereas that actually hinders us and we don't see it, because we don't
absolutely.
want to pay
Yes,
money.
exactly. So it's about
Yeah.
getting out of scarcity mindset and
Yep.
abundance mindset. An abundance
Yes.
mindset, money isn't real. I know I sound a little cuckoo by saying this, but the reality is money can be created. Our mind is so powerful. We can create money. So it's about
Yeah.
shifting the way we think about delegation. It's actually, instead of, oh, let me keep my money, it's like, no, I am going to give this money because it's going to give me XYZ outcome. So the minute
Yep.
you associate that delegation to the bigger purpose and how it's going to benefit you, it becomes easier to let go. Cause I get it. I've been there where I'm like, I mean, I recently like dropped 9 grand for coaching. It
Hmm.
didn't all come out the way I'd hoped, but I know for a fact that that money will come back to me tenfold. There's
Yeah.
still some things I got from that, and I don't regret it. And
Yeah.
so what I would say is that, like, get comfortable with letting go, because part of your business will require you to invest. When you invest in yourself, you're investing in your business. So look at it that way too. If you're not willing to invest in your business, that's you indirectly saying, I'm not willing to grow. So then how
Yep.
do you expect your business to grow?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
getting
So
rid of that
delegate.
scarcity mindset, right? Into that abundance mindset. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
I have a question about your app because I love it. I think it's amazing. It's absolutely incredible, this work that you're doing. What is your next step with the app? Just one little tidbit. I know you
Yeah. So
can't give it all away.
no, for me, I think the next step is really building a team, a solid team. I did,
Yeah.
initially start about a year ago, and I
Mhm.
scrapped that team because, again, one of the pitfalls with entrepreneurship, know your team. So that was a lesson I learned. So it's actually about creating a new team that is actually focused on the same kind of outcomes as I want, but also with the right skill sets who are really vetted and experts in what they do. So that's one area. And the next is getting money, getting funding, getting ready to start getting investors,
Yeah.
funding, and so forth. So I've got that fun journey of pitching ahead of me.
I think that's going to be easy for you because I think that this is, um, an amazing cause that people can back. If they can't back it with their expertise, they can back it with investing. And so
Mm.
I don't think that you're gonna have any issues there. I'm excited for it. I am so excited for it. Okay, so when let's say you're in your entrepreneurship journey, right? We know where you are now. But is there something that you've seen along the way or you've seen in your journey where, oh, people are getting this wrong? One of the things we kind of called out is that scarcity mindset, right? Is there something else that maybe you went through or
Mm.
you see people go through that was like, oh, I wish I would have learned this sooner?
Yeah, girl. I think for me is ineffective marketing. I was a little bit of a snob of like thinking, oh, I could do this. Marketing, whatever. But that was big. It cost me a lot and along the way because of my refusal to hire an effective marketing person. I didn't have that clear strategy at the beginning. And so what happened is, yeah, I was getting it, but it was hit or miss. It wasn't consistent. And so I
Yeah.
think if I had to redo this again, the first thing is get somebody who knows the marketing plan and invest in that person, because part of your business, if you don't have the right marketing strategy or right
Yeah.
marketing person, it's not going to grow far. It's not going to be hard. So you may have a great product, a great service, but if you don't have the right person in place to showcase that to the world, it's going to be a difficult path. So
Mhm.
really get the right marketing strategy and the right marketing person to support your business.
That's good. Ooh, that is key. Yeah, because if people don't know you exist, they can't use your
Yeah.
services, your
Thank
product,
you.
whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So the thing
Yeah.
is people have to know about you. And sometimes it's hard because we're like, oh, I've already put this out there. I've already put this out there. But it's like, no, only a certain amount of people saw that. You have to keep going and keep going. And then going back to using people and their skill sets. Oh, that's so good. I feel like that's also echoing for me because I'm in a certain phase right now where I'm like, okay. That is something too where I'm just like, okay, pay attention there. You have
Mhm.
this. Let's make sure all of the marketing pieces are in play as well too.
Mhm. Yeah.
And they are to a certain extent, but there's things I just need to iron out my systems. I feel like people fall to the level of their systems, right? And so
Exactly.
that's the piece that I'm working on. But yes,
Yeah.
oh, good call out. Marketing. If you had to do it all over again, yeah, people have to know about the
Yes.
goods, right? And I feel like things are
Every.
changing all the time too. Like
Mhm.
sometimes it's for some people, certain platforms are better. You got to know your audience. And so being able to hire someone that already has that skill set. So what's something in your business, tools or two services or two things that you wouldn't want to live without when it comes to business or entrepreneurship?
So I think for me, two tools. Well, one is definitely about having powerful habits. And I learned that through emulating others, the 1%, those really succeeding in life, is about having habits. So that's something I can't do without because it impacts my business. If I wake up out of bed, roll out of bed with nothing to take care of my mind, body, and spirit, I'm gonna
Yeah.
probably have an unsuccessful day. So had what I call it my power morning. So like AM, PM power habits. There are things that I do for myself to cultivate my mind to get into that headspace that's gonna allow me to perform, to do great at business, to do great in my interactions with people, whatever that may be. So it's like allowing myself a minimum of 15 minutes for my mind, where that's meditation, 15 minutes of stretching exercise to get that blood flow going. And just like we've been sleeping. So important to get that body metabolism kicking in as well. And then just 15 minutes to also spend time with for me, I say God, you can call it spirit, whatever is comfortable, a higher order to connect.
Yeah.
And so when I'm able to have like that morning priming, then I'm able to really conquer the day. And also, I do this thing called a triad, which I actually learned from Tony Robbins, and it's physiology, focus, and language. So if there's like a business meeting I have or some project I'm tackling in my business service and I really need to get in a specific mindset, I employ that tool. So if it's like extra confidence, I will literally put myself in a superwoman kind of stance for 2 minutes, breathing, and then start to focus on that goal and start to speak the words that are aligned with the outcome I desire. And so that is like an instant transformation of like, if I'm feeling doubtful, to straight up confidence. And so then before I go, that's my little priming method that I do in conjunction to my morning practice. And as a planner, I'm not gonna lie, I can't go anywhere without my planner. But the more importantly, it's about more my chunking method. So how I look at time. So of course, as an entrepreneur, you're gonna be doing, especially at the beginning, a lot of things. You're just gonna have to be able to manage your time, because time is a currency you can't get back. So for me, knowing that I'm more of a planner, a planner helps me, but I don't just use any kind of planner. I customize it to make sure I'm using a time blocking technique so that every minute is accounted for. And the reason that's important is because then I'm telling also the universe everything is important, and I am learning to be disciplined in how I use my time. And so I'd probably say my habits and my time blocking are two things that are indisposable to me and help my business, because when I'm able to stay focused by using time wisely, I'm able to move further and I'm able to realize what projects, what collaborations are important and not important. When I have that time blocking and that time is tight, I'm like, do I really need to take this call? No. Is this actually going to be in line with my business or not? It's a great filtering process, because the minute I see how I'm using my time, I'm a little bit more selfish with who and what I connect with for my business or for my personal needs.
Ooh, that's good. And it's giving clarity too and prioritization to the week. Okay, let
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
clear out the distractions and make more time for the things that are really going to move the
Exactly.
needle here. Oh, good. What keeps you
Exactly.
motivated? Because I feel like entrepreneurship is one of those things where you have, like you said, the highs and the lows, the highs and the lows. How do you stay motivated, or how do you keep going even if it's not motivation?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm intrinsically motivated for the most part. So for me, it's very important to know my purpose. The minute I lose sight of that, nothing works. I'm not externally motivated. So you can throw money at me and I'm like, eh. So for me, it's about constantly reminding myself why I'm doing this. And there are days where I don't connect with that. And those days I allow myself that grace period to feel it, but then move
Mhm.
forward. So it's in terms of motivation, is understand what kind of motivate, like how you're motivated. Are you intrinsically motivated? Are you externally motivated? So understand that. And when you understand that, then it's easier that when those days come, because they will,
Yeah.
how to shift past that demotivation. So for me, sometimes it really just looks like rest, because for me, it's like I'm go, go, go. I want to do this. Even when I'm feeling demotivated, I feel like I have to do something. Otherwise, things don't move. But part of the motivation comes from taking rest. So it's just getting some rest, because when I'm energized, then I have the motivation to tackle that goal. So allowing that grace period of like, have time in my scheduler where I do nothing. I sleep.
Yeah.
Allow
Yeah.
myself to rest. Allow myself
Mhm.
to get creative, because that's also a source of motivation for me, is when I have time where I'm creating
Mhm.
non-business related stuff. I'm talking art and other fun stuff that
Yeah.
fuels my motivation to then do my business. Or as I'm creating, the answers come. Whereas before, I could be looking at the document and nothing is coming to me. But the minute I shift gears and I relax and get into that calm headspace and do something I enjoy, answers come. So I'd probably say understand how you're motivated and start to do the hobbies that align with that when those days come where you're demotivated. And if you are just not feeling that, just allow yourself that moment to
Yeah.
not be okay, because it's okay. That's part of the journey. So give
Yeah.
yourself that grace. If you need to cry it out, cry it out. If you need to go to a punching bag, just not a person, go to a punching bag. So do what you got to do. But it's
Thank you
okay
for
to also
clarifying
have
that.
those days.
Yes.
It's it's okay
Yes,
if you need to
please
get
go to
help.
your pillow, not a person.
mad in
Yeah.
person, I say a punching bag. Don't come at me with that. So, and then
Yep.
also surround yourself with community. So for people, like I
Yeah.
have friends who are extremely motivated. For them, it will look like surrounding themselves with their village, with their tribe to help them get motivated. So the minute you understand how you work, it gets easier to how to get yourself motivated again. But for
Mm,
me, the why is key.
yeah. Oh, that's good. And I think you brought
And
up a really
I would
good
say
call out
also my
too.
faith.
Oh, and faith. Yeah. No,
Mhm.
that's good. That's good. And I say you brought up a really good call out too is knowing how you're motivated too and leaning into that. I feel
Mhm.
like sometimes we may
Mhm.
not know that. It's like, oh, what motivates me? We don't even have that time of like, let me self reflect. It's just go, 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 go. And then we're in this hamster wheel of doing things that aren't really as productive for ourselves, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what
Oh
is
yeah. I
wealth
was on
to
that.
you, Aiden?
Oh, okay. So I think for me, this has changed over the course of time.
Uh
At
huh.
the beginning, I'd probably say wealth. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was to do with money, not all the way. So there was a part of me that's like, yes, some level of influence, some level of impact, and financial stability. And then as I got into like my entrepreneurship path, and then it became like, no, I got to make this money, like, because this is a roller coaster.
Right.
So wealth was very somehow became very like laser pointed on material gain, which went
Mhm.
against my actual belief of what I thought was wealth. And then I think now, thank God, I'm coming to that place of realizing actually wealth is in my mindset because I have people in my
Mhm.
life who they have the money, they have
Yep.
everything, but they don't have their mind intact.
Yeah.
So it's more than just the money. Money is beautiful and it's great energy to have, but wealth expands past that. It's your mind, your body, the ability to move, these are all aspects like I see as wealth, my
Yeah.
whole being essentially. And then money allows for that, it facilitates that, but it is not the end goal. And so I think
Yeah.
I also now tie it with my faith of like in Christianity, where it's like about the outward impact it has. So my wealth is actually my ability to impact others' lives as well. So it's not just accumulation for me, but bringing it back out to help those in need as well. So I think in a long way, it's really money, mind, body, spirit. Like it's the whole thing. How am
Yeah.
I bringing impact? I think I now measure it based on impact. That's my wealth
Mhm.
index for me now.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
I'm
exactly. And
not
that's why I
averse
asked
to
this.
money. Bring me the money. Bring me the money, but it's not the only thing, is what I'm saying. Like it's
Right.
beyond that. I will use the money to bring impact.
Yeah, yeah. So impact is really big. Yeah, and that's why I asked that question
Mm-hmm.
too, because I feel like and it's also why I built my company Wholesale Wealth, is because I feel like a lot of people focus on money, 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 especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. And I'm not saying that not to focus on money. Money is a tool, right? It's a game. How
Yeah.
do you play it, right? But I
Yeah.
feel like that becomes the sole focus, and a lot of people end up losing a lot of their wealth chasing money,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that is a big part of my practice and what I do, in my coaching and stuff like that, is that wealth is so much bigger. Like shifting that
Mm-hmm.
mindset, wealth is so much bigger than monetary, than money, right? So, yes, beautiful. I love that. Okay. So, we have a rapid fire round going. So, this is where I'm just going to ask you this or that, or really quick questions per se.
Okay.
So, are you ready, Aiden, for our rapid fire round?
Let's go.
Okay. City living, city living or suburban living?
City living.
City
I'm
living.
from London and LA, girl. I moved to Phoenix. I already think that's a village. So city living.
Okay, okay. Got it, got it, got it. Okay, podcasts or books?
Books. Although I'm here for your podcast, I love books. I
Nope.
love being able to hold a book, read it, and just
Mm-hmm.
really immerse.
Mm-hmm. Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
Ah,
Power. Power mornings for me. It's a breakfast. I don't eat past 8 anyways most days, so I'd say breakfast.
Mhm. Social media or networking events?
Networking events. I
Ooh.
I'm a people to people person, but also social media is not what it's made out to be. So I've actually cut out social media and life has been great. So I'd say
Yep.
networking because I see you. I can also gauge your energy. There's a lot more that one gets when they're in person versus on a social media. I don't know the other side of your life, but I could get as an empath some level of understanding of who you are when I see you.
Yeah, because social media has that filter to it, right? You can't
Oh, that filter's
feel
real. Exactly.
that filter is real. Created. Someone's making money off that filter. Yes. Oh, speaking of created,
Yep.
there's one thing I wanted to ask you that I just totally slipped my mind. You mentioned creating money. Okay. That my light bulb went off. Ding, ding, ding. How do people create money?
In the way you're thinking. It's all leads to mindset because money is
Okay.
simply energy. It's a
Mm-hmm.
frequency. So the
Mm-hmm.
minute you start to change the way you think about money, the way you talk about money, the way you spend money,
Mm-hmm.
then the wealth creation of money comes into play. So if I'm looking at money as something that comes few and far between and I'm hoarding the heck out of money, I am emitting a signal that I'm afraid. So money is not going to come to me because money is abundance. So, but the
Mm-hmm.
minute I start to see money as a tool, it frees me of that fear, right? But then also the way I talk about money, I am a money magnet. That's one of my affirmations I say. Now,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we say it and it doesn't feel like it, but you say it until that emotion kicks in, right? And
Yeah.
so when I say these kind of words, I'm putting out that understanding that I can create money because I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to. And so what
Mm-hmm.
happens over time, it takes time is the money starts to show up in increments, in increments. And then I start to build more language around that of, okay, I'm gonna make money a month. I'm gonna be specific. So when you're creating money, the first thing is clear the pre-existing junk that money is something that comes few and far between. Once you clear, you have a base to start creating the kind of money you want to attract, right? And so you start to, and then I also start going to spaces and places of wealth intentionally so program my mind and my body and energy to get comfortable with being in those kind
Ooh,
of spaces because if I'm wanting money
that's
but I've
good.
spent my time in places that reek of poverty, that's a clash. No, I think it's really you are able, just like you've created things in the past. Money is energy. Start looking at money as energy. Money is energy. Therefore, you are a magnet. And now you have the choice to attract it in the way you're thinking, the way you're speaking, the way you're feeling.
Hmm. That's good. Could someone
Choice.
use that same approach to generating wealth as well?
100%.
Whole self wealth?
Absolutely. If it's health,
Yeah.
it's the same principle. If it's
Hmm.
whatever it is, it's the same thing. It's how we're thinking about it leads to how we feel about it, leads to how we act and take and move forward in the result. So if that's money, go back to the thought. If it's about your health, go back to the thought. If it's a habit you want to break, go back to the thought. Everything leads back to that thought because that's the root. If the root is contaminated, everything that comes from it is not great. So there's no point in trying to prune the top. You got to go to the bottom, which is where is this belief system coming from that money is something that I'm not allowed to have? Where is this belief system coming from that I can't be a successful entrepreneur or whatever that whole thing?
Yeah.
Relationships. Go back to that thought and then work through it. And you may need to get counseling, you may need to get therapy, you may need to get coaching, but be okay with that because that's part of the journey that's going to unlock your potential and allow you to be a successful entrepreneur, allow you to have great health, experience that wealth of being well. You know what I mean? And being
Yeah.
able to experience money in the way that feels good and that you will be able to share with others because true wealth is your ability to give back. it's better to give than to receive is what is in the Bible. And I'm not gonna lie, at first I was like, really though? But then the minute I start to practice it, I saw the benefit, the joy of being able to give. When you give, the universe rewards you back tenfold. So understand it goes back to the way you look at things in your thoughts and belief
Oh,
systems.
beautiful. That's awesome. I love that, Aden. That was really
Thank
good.
you.
Really, really good. So heels or sneakers?
Heels, girl.
Early
I love
bird
my
or
little
night
heels.
owl?
Early bird. I'm a 5 a.m. girl.
What is, and this is the last question, what is your latest obsession?
Ooh, my latest obsession. Do I have one? Um, this is very interesting. I don't do obsession, but I think my latest interest is probably, oh, I am on a quest to go to every sporting event, like live event. So that's meant like 2 basketball games already, and baseball is not really my thing. So that's my goal now, is experience live sports games and then make a decision of the ones I like, and then start making that a thing into my day to day.
Ah, so going to sports games.
Yeah.
What sparked that?
Honestly, I was like, I love soccer, but that's my European side to it. But I was like, why am I hating on, American football and all these other sports? Like, I don't really give them time. And my philosophy in life is, if I at least try it once before you have a comment. And so
Right.
I realized, I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know about that. So I was like, no, that goes against your philosophy. So that's where it came about. And I learn better when I experience things. I'm more of an experiential person. So I said, I don't want to watch it on a screen. I want to be there to really experience it and make that decision if this is something for me and what the next sport venture will look like. So hence how this was birthed. I moved to Phoenix about 8 months ago, and it's a hub for the sporting industry. I literally live in downtown Phoenix, so the Chase Field is there, the Footprint Center is there, and so I think that also sparked that desire of like, let me learn about the different kind of sports that are out in North America, and see if any of that can become part of my day to day.
I love that too, because it's so unexpected. Like, of all the things you could have said, I would have never guessed that.
Sports,
And so I
girl.
love that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, well, Aden, thank you so much for coming on the show. It has been a pleasure having you. Thank you for sharing your nuggets, your wisdom, your gems. We really appreciate having you on the show. And if anybody wants to find out more about Aden and her app that she's working on, or the mind training that she's done, or her book, please know that her information is in the comment section. Thank you, Aden. It has been a pleasure. And one more thing before you go. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, leave it 5 stars, and share it with a friend. That incredibly helps our channel out. And we don't want you to miss any amazing nuggets that could change your life in any way, or someone you know. So please share this with a friend, and remember, you have the power to design your remarkable life.